to cool cars, interesting people. Today, he just came back from climbing a little hill. You might have heard of it, Mount Everest. It's somewhere on the other side of the world. That's Trevor Stewart. Quite a story about Trevor, not only the accomplishment of climbing the hill, but also why he went. It's called Elevating Lives. We'll talk about that. But first of all, let's have a look at our car for today. Neil G. Come on in here from Northside Lethbridge Dodge. Neil, nice to have you. You know what? And Trevor didn't even send me. I came to see you. All right. This is a 2016 Dodge Dart. The Dart has been around for a long time, went away for a while, and it's back, and it's bigger and better than ever.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, maybe not bigger, but better.
Yeah, they kind of went to the compact days back in like 63 and stuff, and then they built them to 76, got out of it, come back on the Fiat side of things, built off the Alfa Romeo chassis. So the sportiness, the handling, the ride, all that stuff is there. So very fun to drive car. All of today's technology to 8.4-inch touchscreens, blind spot monitoring, projector headlamps, LED fog lights, all that kind of stuff. So.
And you look inside and you got all the leather interior and all the backup lights and all that technology.
Yeah, this model is the GT, so it gets the performance hood, the ground effects, the nice wheels and leather loaded. So yeah, you can get all today's comforts, heated seats, heated steering wheel, but very economically friendly on fuel. It's through the roof and really fun to drive. Yeah.
Now, do you think we could, get a Sherpa guide and go up the coulees with this thing?
Yeah, well, maybe grab Trevor's guides. We'll see how far we can get up Everest with it.
All right, let's do this. Thank you. You gonna give me the keys?
I'm gonna give you the keys.
Let's go get Trevor.
Well, hello.
Climb every mountain, ford every stream. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's I've been everywhere, man.
This is where you started your training to go up Everest, isn't it? Like
That is.
Like going all the way up. How much did you do with that?
I did those stairs 5 days a week.
5 days a week.
Yeah, for almost 2 years.
Like up and down, up and down.
Up and down, up and down, and then I did all kinds of different workouts on the platform, on the different stair levels, and some of them are steeper and some are less steep. So changed it up, all the workouts on all those different angles.
And a lot of times you were wearing backpacks.
Heavy backpacks, 80 pounds.
Wow.
Up to 130 pounds.
130 pounds.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So weighted sandbags around the neck.
Yeah.
With a big heavy pack on and ankle weights on, so 130 pounds.
Yeah.
Trudging up, down, and then I would do the ends of the coulees.
Yeah.
So I would
Oh
go up an end and then down an end and move over and go up and down and move over and go up and down. So all these coulee ends have different degrees of difficulty. So it was really great, and sometimes obviously frozen ground. Muddy, rainy.
Why? Because you never know what you're going to get.
No, exactly. And super cold, like there was one day it was minus 39 with the wind chill, and it was snowing and blowing, and
Saskatchewan.
And so still here, still worked out here,
Yeah. So I mean, you get that done, you're in terrific shape, so that ain't no mountain high enough.
That's
anyway, let's go. This is a 2016 Dodge Dart, just for you. This has got all the bells and whistles. Come on the side, and we'll go for coffee. How's that?
Oh, let's go for coffee.
You want that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm good with that.
You don't have a Sherpa guide with you today?
So where are we going?
We're going to Stella's Diner.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're liking the color blue here.
Oh, I love blue.
Blue is you. Yeah. Well, look at you're wearing blue.
Yeah.
It's like we phoned and said we're blue for the blue.
I should have been. You know what we should have done is got a picture with me leaning on the hood.
Well, we'll get that.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah,
We'll
I was gonna say that would be a cool picture because I'm all set for blue. Oh my goodness.
So when you look at that there, what goes through your mind when there it is? That you spent so much of your life dedicating yourself to, ultimately doing what you did.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I am absolutely stoked that this little end of a coulee
Yeah.
was my training ground, and it had me so well trained
Yeah.
that when the going got tough on Everest, yeah, I kicked in. I just
Really? I'm at Indian Battle Park.
yeah. Yeah. It's really funny because my mind would go to places I'd already climbed. So I would say, oh, this is like the third, I call them butt ends of the coulees, because it's the end. It's right. So it's like, oh, this is as steep as that, or this reminds me of going up Galway and Waterton, or this reminds me of going up Crow's Nest Mountain.
Right.
But this was the training ground for everything.
Yeah.
This is what got me into shape and ready for it.
And as Yogi Berra says, half of what you're doing is 90% mental, right? Like you've got to get your mind into a position where no matter how much you can't breathe, no matter how much you're in pain, that doesn't exist.
It does
right?
not. That is true.
Yeah.
That is so true. I found mentally on the mountain, that was my strongest asset.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Very much so. I kept saying to myself, wow, this is not as hard as if I had my 130-pound weights on going up the ends of those stairs.
Yeah.
The end of the coulee on the stairs. So I just kept telling myself, this is not as intense as that. So I've got more in me. I can keep going.
Yeah.
And then, from the domestic violence part of why I'm climbing too, is to create a lot of awareness. So my mind also reflected back to being a kid and a teenager and going through the abuse and thinking, this is not as hard as
what you went through as a kid.
Yeah, putting up and enduring that. So I can keep going on this mountain. It's kind of the strength from that too.
Yeah.
Allowing that to come out and strengthen me was a great metaphor, really.
And because I remember, well, you started, the first thing you did was with Big Brothers and Sisters, back with Kilimanjaro. Was that your first thing?
Yes, that was.
And you did that twice.
Yeah, I did it in 2008 and 2009.
And then you had this epiphany. It says, that's just not enough. I've got to climb, 7 more mountaintops? Is that what it was?
I've done 11 total.
So,
but so for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, they originally had said, hey, would you like to come on in and, we'd like you to climb a mountain for us. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Right? Not knowing that they had picked Kilimanjaro.
Oh, they picked it for you?
Yeah. They had it all scoped out. And so I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought, no, there's no way. I wasn't in shape. So I had to get myself ready for that. And that mountain is the tallest mountain
in
Africa, right? So, and then it's also super high. So the altitude is 19,400 feet, which I wasn't prepared for to begin with. So I had to train really, really, really hard. And mentally, I was prepared for it when I got there. So that's the biggest thing. But what happened was in 2009 when I went back to climb, I thought, wow, I need a change of scenery. So the next year I went to Everest Base Camp.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I remember that one too.
Yes.
I think I phoned you on the radio.
You did. Yeah, you did.
And you answered the call.
Yes, I sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
We're going to go into Stella's.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go.
Oh, thank you very much. Go Italia.
Italian all the way.
Are you
all the way?
Are you wearing that because you want to?
I'll get fired.
Anyway, here. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mark.
So let's pick up our story. We were on Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
You did that one. You did it twice.
Yes.
And then you said what?
I said I'm getting a little bored of the mountain, to be honest.
Because it wasn't that big, tough of a climb.
Well, no, it wasn't a climb at all. It was like high altitude hiking with a little bit of scramble.
Okay.
On one of the just called the Great Bronco Wall.
Okay.
750 foot scramble, And I had done it the year before, so it was kind of like, man, I need to see a different change of scenery. And so I found out that Everest Base Camp was an amazing trek to do. So again, no climbing, just trekking.
Just trekking.
And I really fell in love with Nepal. The spiritualism, the culture was amazing.
Yeah.
So I always said, if I ever want to do something extreme, I'll go back to Nepal.
Right.
And so that's what made me go back.
Talk about that spiritualism, because you met some amazing people, and that is, the mountain is very important to them, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
so what is it? What is it that's so important? What do they tell you about it?
So basically, on the journey, on the trek, I'm going to start with a story about the Lama Geshe that I met. They're very high spiritual ranking people. So they told me that there was a chance I could meet this Lama Geshe, and I was like, wow, I really want to meet this fella. I've never met one before. Very high up monks, and so I was like, okay, let's go. So we went, and sure enough, we met him. And what he did was, it's so deep and he's so spiritual. So he looks you in the eyes, then he takes a silk scarf, puts it around your neck, and he pulls you forward to where you touch third eyes. And he just held me there. And then he started to chant and pray. And then he had told my Sherpa that he could see me summiting Everest. And I said, no, I think you're wrong, because I'm only going to Everest Base Camp at the time. That was 6 years ago.
Wow.
I said, no, I'm only going to Everest Base Camp, so I'm not really sure if I believe this, you know. But he said, no, I can see you summiting Everest. And he gave me a date, which happened to be the exact date I summited this time. So the spiritualism is amazing.
Was that coincidental, or was that the date that you set in your mind?
It was totally coincidental.
Really?
We had to do it on the 21st, and we had to do it early because of the window storm window was coming.
Wow.
So
that's kind of freaky.
It is really, yeah.
Is it like a deep feeling that you get when he's talking to you and
it was
chanting?
goosebumpy.
Yeah.
It was really goosebumpy. Yeah. I was amazed because the other people that he pulled in, he just touched foreheads and let go, and then a little bit of sprinkle of holy water, a little bit of rice throwing, and didn't.
We'll
say
give him the tourist stuff. There we go.
Yeah,
but not for Trevor. It's the good stuff.
But it was weird. It was like for real. And then he told me this. He said, "I can see you famous in your city." And I said, "No, that's not happening, because I'm only doing something for big brothers and big sisters at the time."
Yeah.
I said, "That's not happening." So no, at first I was like, "No, it was a waste of my time," but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's all happening. It's all there. So the spiritualism that is in Nepal is really deep rooted. It goes back centuries and centuries and centuries. I went and visited monasteries and monks and seen them reading their huge books and saw them studying. That is incredible.
Yeah.
So
you made the decision to help YWCA Harbor House Elevating Lives.
Yes.
Take us through that whole thought process, and then the fact you went to South America, and then ultimately.
Sure.
Okay.
So there was a time where I wasn't doing any charity climbs or high altitude hiking events for any charity for a couple of years, which got me thinking, it's time. So what happened was, through Royal LePage, who I work for, they have a foundation called the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation. And I was like, well, what is it that I'm giving to? The Shelter Foundation does what? And they said, well, it helps women and children at the YWCA get away from domestic violence. And I went, whoa!
That's my life story.
That's my life story.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to do with my mother. I wanted to get her away from my father for years and years and years. And we suffered from abuse in our family, extremely bad. So I was like, wow, I had no idea the YWCA existed until I moved to the city and I got acquainted with different charities. And I thought to myself, this is my time to start opening up about my past, which I was close to doing up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'm going to create a campaign, and not only will it elevate others, this is going to elevate my life, and it's going to help me expose what has happened to me and maybe bring hope to other people that they can get help.
Yeah.
People that don't know about the YWCA. Some people know about it, but they have no idea what they do there. So just creating a lot of awareness for them.
So that must have been sort of cathartic to say, this is what I've been through.
Wow.
To let everyone know.
Yes.
And just to say, it's out there, you know who I am now. Does that felt good?
Yes, exactly. And it was just tough because at the very first time I went to the YWCA to talk to them and to pitch my campaign, they said, well, so why did you choose us? So I told them, and they're like, oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
So what are you proposing to do for us? And I said, well, I'm proposing to climb 6 mountains in 16 months for the charity. And let's see. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I thought South America would be a piece of cake. And it was also a training ground for Everest. So I had to do Mount Aconcagua, the highest mountain in South America.
Right.
And it's also the highest mountain in the world outside of outside of Nepal and that mountain range. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. Well, I struggled really hard on that mountain with crazy diarrhea for many days. Lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks.
Is there any kind of other type of diarrhea other than crazy?
Crazy. No, yeah. There's. I don't know. I could probably turn.
Oh, we've got the real sane diarrhea. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it just about took me off the mountain, but just digging really deep, knowing that I had a little bit more in me, just keep going. I had the team gave up on me, left me in one camp.
Really?
But I just picked up again. They thought I was going down. They're too weak to continue.
Wow.
So I just pulled myself together, and I was like, they left me, but I still have more in me. So I carried on, and I caught up to them in camp, and they're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, I have a mission to complete. This is the start of my mission. My mission is to elevate lives and to get up here and get a summit picture. And so I did. And that really encouraged me that I could do, if I can do a 22,850 foot mountain like that, I should be able to do Everest if I'm feeling well, right?
Yeah.
So then I did that one, came home, found out it raised quite a bit of money for YWCA and made quite an impact. And then June, so that was in February of 2015. Then in June 2015, I went to South America and I did Bolivian mountains. So did 4 on the program and 1 for fun. So I did 5, but that is absolutely incredible. Got some really good technical training in Bolivia as well. Like really good, solid technical training, which I was looking forward to. And ice climbing and some really steep stuff. So I was super pumped to come home from Bolivia knowing that I had accomplished that. And raised another good load of money for them, and which was good.
And you continue on. So we get to the Everest thing. Before we get to the Everest thing, though, big earthquake a year before.
Yeah, a year ago. Yeah.
So what was going through your mind when that happened? I mean, horrible when that happened. So
yes,
and
exactly.
You probably knew a few people that were affected.
Affected, yes.
Yeah.
Some of the Sherpas that had taken me to base camp prior were there. They weren't hurt in the avalanche, but they were there.
Yeah.
There was, but their villages were destroyed and their homes, and so I heard about that and followed that, and I was really sad about that. But the part about knowing there was a couple from Alberta from. I can't remember which city, but they were reported missing after the avalanche. So it affects you,
sure,
because you're like, wow, I've been there. I look back on my photos, and I could see where the avalanche had came down, and so on. So yeah, it
not
really
to be,
touched me.
But I mean that's horrible. But then you have to start thinking, well, am I going to be able to go?
Yeah.
So that's the back of your mind too, right?
Exactly, because I had committed to the climb before the avalanche happened, and then we were wondering, are we actually going to go? Or is it going to be open?
Yeah.
And so
did you get a permit for that? Did you get a permit?
Yeah, got a permit for it at the last minute. You apply for it, and what happened was we were going to go the south side,
right? And
then just at the last minute, my Sherpa decided to go north side.
that a good thing, or
So,
I don't know? I don't know what a north and a south means.
You know what? The south side had the most casualties this year, so it was a good thing. But the stressor for me was, well, are we going to get our permit?
Right.
The Chinese don't always grant you your permit.
Okay.
I had climbed to 6,965 meters by summiting Aconcagua, and the Chinese said it is mandatory to have climbed to 7,000 meters to climb the north side. So there's a technicality there of a few meters.
Oh no.
So right at the last, they granted the permit. So it was like, whew, good thing, because I'm here waiting for my permit.
Wow.
So we were already in base camp by the time.
Really, you hadn't had your permit when you were in base camp?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they
That
issued
could've
it. It could have been. Oh, I
whole
could have got
thing.
that whole thing. Could have been a kibosh. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So well, you had the Buddhist or the minute
Yes,
he was on your side.
I had Lama Geshe on
Yeah,
my
there
side.
you go.
And the interesting thing is, I met him again this time.
Nice.
So we went to the south side because I'd already planned to do the south side, and then a friend from here decided to come along and see Everest Base Camp.
Right.
So because of that commitment, I went with him. Right, I didn't want to not do it.
Yeah.
And I said to him, hey, there's a chance we can probably meet a lama. And he's like, really?
Yeah.
So we went there, and he wasn't even out of bed yet. So we got ushered into the kitchen, and where they were making tea and prepping. So we had tea with people in the house
Right.
that nobody else does.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. It was
Let's.
great.
So take us through. I mean, when you say climb Mount Everest, it's not like you're going up Bear's Hump. You don't just climb up to Bear's Hump.
No.
There is a process.
There is.
You know, you have to get acclimatized. You have to climb up and climb back down.
Down.
Climb up and climb back.
Yes.
Explain that whole thing and help us understand
Okay.
what it means to
Yes.
climb something like that, and then how you deprived of oxygen you become, the medicines that you have to take, and then the delirium, the
Yeah.
diarrhea if you got some. I don't know if you do or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Or take
Yeah,
us through
for
all
sure,
that, because
for sure.
it's
So
a bugger.
Yes, it is. It's for sure a bugger.
Yeah.
It's so hard on the system. It just tears you apart from the inside. So what happened with me is I decided that the south side Everest Base Camp would be perfect for my altitude training, so that by the time I get to the north side base camp, I won't have any symptoms. So it takes a few weeks to do the journey to the south side base camp. So you're trekking. So you land about 9,500 feet at a little old airport.
Right.
The airport's actually on an 18-degree angle, and it's really short.
Yeah.
So they dive down, hit, and basically it stops them, the impact. It's pretty crazy. But then, so what happens is people at that altitude start feeling the effects of altitude, because they come from here to there so fast
Right.
that they already start feeling it. So what happens right away is, the first thing is headaches. People get these massive headaches that just won't go away. And it's from the lack of oxygen getting to the brain. And so there's a medication for that called Diamox, and the Diamox is made to dilate and allow your body to absorb the little bits of oxygen that you're getting. You're getting less, of course, at 10,000 than we are here, but the higher you go up, the less and less it is. So it's only 20% at the top of Everest. So you need to be on oxygen, other than the few people who try to do it without.
Well, you do need to be on oxygen.
You should be on
Yeah,
oxygen,
yeah.
yes.
You were.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I got on oxygen at about 7,400 meters. Yeah, that's when they just said it's time, and I'm like, oh, okay. But so what happens with the body is organs hurt, teeth ache. I have an issue with gout, so it was tough. So as soon as I thought, I should take a high altitude medication pill, the Diamox. I should take one because this headache's been with me for 3 days. So I took one, and a few hours later, gout pain.
Oh, good Lord.
So it totally goes against my gout. So I was like, okay, I'm going off of this medication totally. But then I couldn't get the gout under control. And so then I thought, well, I gotta get help here. So I had to hike for 24 kilometers to find a doctor that would be able to subscribe me a medication that would work. Right? So there's those issues, and then the other issues are you get high altitude pulmonary edema. So you can get what happens with the oxygen. If your body is not absorbing the oxygen, it turns it into liquid.
Wow.
So the liquid goes one place, goes into your heart. So it sits in the chambers of your heart and it starts filling up. So within a short period of time, they're air vac'd out if there's air vac or if they have insurance.
Right.
Otherwise, they reject the ride out and it's over. So
that's it. Boy, you got a lot of things working against you to complete that climb.
Yes, you do. Yes.
So ultimately, you get to the top.
Ultimately.
All right. So that feeling, you're on top of the world.
Yes. So how honest should I be?
Yeah.
Because for me, I thought they were joking. I thought that I was at the top. It was pitch dark.
It was pitch dark.
It was
really?
pitch dark. Yeah, 3:45 in the morning.
Oh no.
And they all of a sudden took me off the rope and they said, "You go ahead. We're almost there." And I said, "We're almost there? Are you for real?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're like, there's the top." And I'm like, "Okay." So I get up there and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm looking around like, "This is real. I can't go any higher. Wow, I'm here."
But it's dark.
It's pitch dark. So
so you don't even know if you really were.
I'm like, I couldn't even see the top, and then all of a sudden it's there. So for me, just being on the top and knowing I couldn't climb any higher, that's when it hit me. It's like I made it, and I'm doing a self diagnostic of myself, and I'm like, how do I feel right now? I feel great. Closed my eyes. It felt like I was sitting on a park bench down on the stairs in the middle of the night, and I felt fine. I felt really good.
Is it a little disappointing to be not there in the daytime though?
Yes.
I mean, that would be
very disappointing.
Was that now? Why was it at that time of
There
night?
was a storm moving in,
and you had to do it.
And actually, so they were supposed to start us out at midnight.
Right.
And we were supposed to summit at 8 in the morning. But they started me out at 10.
Oh, no.
And we got there at 3:45. So I just climbed super fast. I didn't realize that it was not that far.
Right.
I figured it was a super long way, and I felt great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt really good. I was waiting a long time for the Sherpa in front of me to catch his breath at times, and I'm like, I wonder if I should just go around him, because really I'm like...
You're doing better than him?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Yeah, wow. Yeah. Once the oxygen went on, it was like I had some kind of...
Second gear. Yeah.
Second wind, yeah. It really...
So how long do you actually get to spend on the mountain, on the top?
It was not quite 20 minutes.
So you get to savor it a little bit, even though you don't see it.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, you can't. How does it become official that everyone, that you know that you were there?
Yes. So
someone,
the Sherpa calls the Chinese government, which they're sitting in base camp,
right,
waiting for your call. So they know every single climber that's there because we're registered.
Yeah.
Then 15 minutes after I summited is when they made the call. So my registry says that I summited at 6 a.m. Chinese time.
Right.
But in Nepal, because they wanted us on Nepalese time, it was 3:45.
But you're confirmed. You
I'm
did it.
Confirmed. I'm confirmed. Yeah, and I'm registered in the Himalayan database.
Fantastic.
As well. Yeah.
And how many Canadians have climbed that side of the mountain?
21.
You're
I was the 21st person.
Now, you know, we talk about the fun and the joy and getting a Sherpa guide. You're going up there and it's all great. But there's also that, I mean, it's one of those, you know, you have two ends of it because people died on that mountain when they were
did.
there.
Yeah.
You know,
21st was deadly, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, your joy is tempered with the real reality that people die, and they die on that hill all the time, and bodies are left all over the place, aren't
Absolutely,
they?
yeah.
So, I mean, take us through that emotion if there is one.
Yeah, there's, you know, climbing with people, you get to know them briefly, and then you see them struggle. and then you hear about it later that these people have passed away, or these people are missing, or these people, these people, they're looking for these people, or whatever. But the reality is, on the way up, you see and you go, oh man, what was that in my headlamp? And it was a body. And then you go up a little further and you're like, oh, there's another body. And then I was on the way down, and when all of a sudden the sun came out. So it goes from pitch dark to light. And I was like, whoa, I need the sunrise. So I turned my GoPro on and I'm filming the sunrise. And I get back home and I look at the video, and there's a dead body in my video. It's, you just go, wow. Like, and found out it was a Russian from 2000. Just laying near the top ever since, ran out of O2.
So they just, but the bodies are left there.
Yeah, they are.
Is it, and the reason for that is too expensive to take them out, or?
No, there's you cannot physically exert yourself to that extreme to pull somebody or hold somebody back to take them down. But we were able to rescue an Indian woman on our descent from the summit.
Oh.
Yeah, so from our highest camp is Camp 3, and our summit is here. And we were descending, and I look down and I see this glove waving at me, and I'm like, oh, there's got to be a person attached to that glove, because I don't see the person, but there has to be somebody. So I told the Sherpa, I said, there's someone way down there waving. And he says, oh, they're probably saying hi. I said, no one waves up here at anybody.
Yeah.
There's no love up here. No, really, no, it's, I'm in trouble. And I said, they're waving again, so let's go. So we hustled and got down, and she was tangled. And the rope was around her hand, and there was a carabiner pinching off her wrist. So we had to get all that off in order for her to be free from the line. Now, the horrible part about this, Mark, is that her Sherpas left her on that line and went back to Camp 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That is the horriblest Sherpas I've ever heard of. So we were able to find them. We were able to nicely ream them out, and we reported them to the Climbing Association. So hopefully their licenses are revoked. But we saved her life because they had gave up on her. The other people that would have been behind us were probably hours behind us, and so she would have been totally
dead,
frozen. Yeah, it was very cold. So
I mean, what is that your mindset, knowing that the possibility exists that you could die?
Yeah.
What do you? Yeah. How do you get over that, or do you?
It's mental. It's mental.
It is. Yeah. We're back to that mental thing again.
Yeah. Mentally, before I left, I was ready to live. I was ready to die. I had accepted the fact that there is a chance I will not be coming home. I accepted that. And
why would they be mad at the YWCA if you didn't finish this? You owe us another $10,000.
Yeah, exactly. Well, might have been better for fundraising.
But you made it.
I made it all. Yeah.
But thank heavens for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And talking about, I want to get into the finances of this whole thing, because it's not like, again, using the Bears Hump reference, you don't just pay to get in and go up the hill. No. This is money that comes out of your pocket. I mean, this was a fundraiser, but you still raised, you had to come up with your own money to go, right?
Yes,
so
I did.
What's it cost to climb up Mount Everest?
Mount Everest has changed the way you can do business there now. So the Nepalese Sherpas, since the earthquakes and all the last 3 years of climbing, they decided to take the reins, per se, and put themselves out there for hire.
Okay.
And because the commercialism was too much money, and they weren't getting adequate pay. They didn't feel.
Right.
So they were feeling if they were only getting between $600 and $6,000 for taking somebody to the top, that they felt was not enough, too cheap. So they said, we're for hire, and they were throwing numbers out there. So I was able to communicate with a Nepalese guide and agree on 50,000 Canadian.
50,000 Canadian.
50,000 Canadian. I raised, by family and friends, about $3,500 they personally gave to me to help with my expenses and gear and travel and whatever to put towards that.
So spit in the bucket
So-
of 50,000. That's
So hey, it all helped, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I didn't expect people to give personally to me, but they gave 28,000 to the YWCA.
And that's
So
money that had nothing to
that's
do with you.
Nothing to
This
do
is
with
money
me,
raised that
for
all
them,
goes
to them, to their support groups and everything, and to help the women and children.
And just so people know, you went to Hawaii after this because you needed the rest.
Yes.
That was on you as well.
That's on my dime,
That wasn't
yeah.
your fundraising dollars.
No,
that said,
no,
Hey, thanks for doing this. Go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was all on your dime.
Yeah.
So
it was just-
a total of the trips that you've taken
yeah,
to climb mountains out of your own pocket, what have you spent?
180,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a pretty big commitment. Right? Yeah.
So, but how do you?
So,
I mean, but you'd raise a bunch of money for various charities, but you still took that. So, I get, is it justified to do what you did for you?
it's
no
for
problems.
For me,
Money is nothing.
oh no, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I drained my bank account every single time I went on an expedition. I felt that was more important to me than hoarding it or putting it away.
Wow.
My wife says, yeah, you could look at all the properties you could invest it in, but because of your choice, go for it. Go keep doing what you're doing, and we can always do this stuff later, and we only live once. So, yeah, and it's basically
money really doesn't matter for you. I
money
mean, it
does
matters,
not-
but it doesn't.
It matters, but yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter. I don't keep it. So
So you don't begrudge the fact you spent that much money to do this?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
No, this is. I always tell people, I started living the minute I signed up to be a mentor for Big Brothers and Big Sisters and climb a mountain for them. That is the time in my life where I can go back to and say, I can write books now. From that moment on, I can start writing books, because it's mind shattering, it's life changing, and I wouldn't have had that if I would have just kept selling houses.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But in the meantime, people, if you need a house,
Yes.
Yeah,
If you need a house, call me.
because who are you working for now?
Royal LePage.
Royal
South
LePage.
Country.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Trevor, that was so awesome. Thank you for I know you
thank
probably
you.
got a lot of requests to do interviews, and thanks
I've
for
got a few more,
sharing.
but this is you're the first one. So
Well, bless you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bless you,
Trevor
Mark.
Stewart, everybody. Thank you.
thank you.